flying a skyscraper, essentially. So we need a lot of propulsion to get that heavy weight off the ground.
These rockets need to go 5 times the speed of sound to get out of the atmosphere. And what happens is that the air acts as a can crusher, and it's trying to crush that vehicle. So what we have to do as aerodynamicists is quantify what those forces are doing to your rocket.
As we're testing in the wind tunnel, we're looking at the pressures that the body sees all the way up. That really just
The first full day of spring in Oklahoma is here. We're tracking the chances for severe weather coming up. Oklahoma's Don't Say Gay bill at the center of House debate today, plus former President Donald Trump's expected indictment. The preparations ahead. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Cameron Joyner.
And I'm Dana Searles. We begin tonight with a hot button issue at the state capitol. The bill that some call the Don't Say Gay issue is one step closer to becoming law in Oklahoma. It would change curriculum in elementary schools concerning sexual orientation and gender identity. OU Nightly's Jaden Brannon joins us live from the newsroom with the details. Jaden?
Yeah, Dana, the House debated for an hour, but the vote wasn't even close, passing by 79 to 19. This bill prohibits teachers from talking about sexual orientation or gender identity in grades pre-K through 5th grade. While the majority voted in favor, there were some representatives who argued against the bill. They cited its lack of clarity and that it will only hurt the young students in our state. Representative Terry O'Donnell, who proposed the bill, argued for its passing and that the conversation should be in the hands of the parents.
We're facing an enormous teacher shortage, and every year we seem to put more onuses on our educators. Have you considered the impact of your legislation on our dwindling body of professional educators?
But I think when you start looking at that, in this legislation, you're looking at the wrong end of the telescope. What we're trying to do is put the parents in charge of what their children are exposed to and at school.
Now Oklahoma is following other states such as Florida and Alabama who have already passed similar bills against teaching these topics in schools, but here's where it's a little bit different. As it stands right now, Oklahoma school counselors would not be prevented from talking to students about these topics if they're asked, and this bill is now on its way to the Oklahoma Senate, and we'll keep an eye on it. In the newsroom, Jaden Brannon, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Shannon. There is now a limited right to abortion in Oklahoma. The Oklahoma Supreme Court ruled today that the state's constitution protects the right of mothers to choose to abort their child if the mother's life is endangered by the pregnancy. Elective abortions are still not allowed after the High Court's narrow ruling. The American Civil Liberties Union applauded the court's decision, but believes it didn't go far enough.
While we appreciate that the Oklahoma Supreme Court did find that there was a limited right, they did not answer many of the questions that we asked. And specifically, they did not go as far as to answer if there is a right to an abortion without exception.
The High Court ruled that doctors can use their own medical judgment to determine if an abortion would save the mother's life.
And now it is the first full day of spring, and the sun is just coming out right now.
OU Nightly meteorologist Catherine Liberta is live to tell us how the sunshine could affect our temperatures.
Yeah, that's right. Earlier today, it was a bit miserable out with temperatures sitting in the 50s and lots of cloud cover. But the sun has come out now and temperatures are continuing to warm up as we head throughout this afternoon. Right now in Oklahoma City and Norman area, we're seeing those mid to upper 60s. And even parts of western Oklahoma are seeing some 80s right now. But eastern Oklahoma is a lot cooler than we are because they have have that cloud cover that we saw earlier today. If we look on our live satellite radar, we can see that they still have a lot of that cloud cover over parts of Tulsa, McAllister. They're seeing that cloud cover start to move east. And here in Oklahoma City and Norman, those clouds are starting to move out. And so those temperatures are going to continue to warm up as we head throughout the evening and throughout the rest of the week. But with those warmer temperatures, we have a chance for some severe weather. Colton Williams is going to have the timing of those storms coming up later in the newscast. Back to you.
Thanks, Catherine. And with tornado season officially starting this month, many students who live off campus are concerned about their safety in their homes away from home. OU Nightly's Kaylee Fan has more.
I like my apartment, but as far as like when tornadoes come through, I always feel like the wind could go and then it would all come toppling down.
This was the reality for many OU students during the EF2 tornado that touched down in Norman last month. Instead of staying put, those who live off campus are forced to find alternate safety measures that includes going to shelters on campus or skipping town altogether.
Yeah, I just didn't feel safe in the line of the storm living on the second floor without a shelter, so I figured I would just get out of the way altogether.
I was directing the severe weather coverage that we were doing. I was probably safer here at Gaylord than I would have been if I would have stayed at my apartment, because there are big, thick walls that were made to last, and then there's a storm shelter right across the street.
This leaves many students wondering why an area like Norman, which is right in Tornado Alley, may be lacking storm shelters at their apartments.
It's because it's a liability, because if someone goes in and then gets hurt, then we're up for a lawsuit basically, and we also can't turn anyone away since it is a public space. As much as I think we would like to have one, we can't.
Since it's typical for apartment complexes not to have storm shelters, the National Weather Service recommends that residents hide away from outside walls and windows, such as in a closet or in a bathroom.
Although they understand the concern, students say they would feel much safer with a storm shelter closer to where they call home.
At least like a place to go that's like, even if it wasn't like, I don't know, an official storm shelter, like a basement or something.
Reporting in Norman, Kaylee Fan, OU Nightly.
Students are still able to be weather aware without ready access to shelters, but they are still hopeful that apartment complexes will get storm shelters of their own one day.
Monthly cell phone bills could rise across the state with the passing of House Bill 1590. Representative Jim Grego says the bill would pinpoint the exact location of 911 calls. All monthly costs would increase $1.25.
And former President Donald Trump's possible indictment is putting New York police on high alert, setting up barricades and extra security. Ireland Fitzer has that and the rest of today's national headlines from the News Center.
Trump predicted he could be indicted as early as today and called on his supporters to protest, a narrative similar to January 6th. So far, an arrest hasn't happened. Trump is at the center of an investigation into alleged hush money payments to an adult film star, Stormy Daniels, during his 2016 campaign. The current investigation looks into whether or not he falsified documents to pay his former attorney, Michael Cohen, for the payments. Cohen pleaded guilty in connection to the payments to Daniels in 2018. The findings of the Murdaugh case points investigators to re-examine the body of 19-year-old Stephen Smith. Smith died 8 years ago near the home of Murdaugh family. South Carolina law enforcement says that this was prompted by information collected during the investigation into the murders of Paul and Maggie Murdaugh, but they have not revealed those details. And good news for home buyers, experts say the price of a home has gone down. A new report shows that the median price of a home in February was down 0.2% from February of last year. This decrease ends more than a decade streak of home prices increasing. Experts say they expect this price and drop to continue. Cameron, Dana.
Thanks, Ireland. And if you're tired of spam texts clogging up your inbox, the government has a plan.
Stick around to hear the details of their plan and even why these texts might be bad for our devices. Plus, more and more Americans continue to join the ever-growing number of TikTok users, despite warnings of national security concerns.
Find out what those concerns are next on OU Nightly.
Tornadoes tear through Oklahoma.
We have a tornado warning for Cleveland County.
The OU Nightly weather team was there before.
45 minutes away or less from these storms getting into campus.
During.
Plenty of people who, are living off campus. This storm is headed to you.
And after.
Again, sending news crews out to assess damage.
Always keeping the University of Oklahoma in focus.
Campus in the clear right now.
OU Nightly Weather, your campus weather authority.
Did you know that items like paint, cleaning solutions, pesticides, solvents, and other chemicals are considered household hazardous waste? These chemicals are dangerous to our environment and water quality when they are dumped in our storm drains or gutters. Fortunately, the City of Norman has a dedicated household hazardous waste facility where you can properly dispose of these items. Call 405-366-5463 to make an appointment. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
The FCC has a plan to help get rid of them. Snowforth has that and more in Science and Technology.
First robocalls and now robo-texts. The explosion of spam texts has the government adopting new rules to keep them off your phone. The plan would require phone providers to block texts from phone numbers that appear to be invalid, unallocated, or unused. The FCC is also considering applying a do not call list to text messages. And are you a part of the now 150 million American users on TikTok? Well, the popular app could be banned in the U.S. if Chinese owners do not sell their stake in it. U.S. lawmakers have national security concerns about the social media platform. They fear that the app could be infiltrated by the Chinese government to spy on American users, gain access to users' data, or spread propaganda. And say hello to Bard, Google's new AI chatbot tool. Similar to ChatGPT, Bard generates compelling responses to user prompts using online data. Google says it can help you write an essay draft, plan a friend's baby shower, or make lunch based on what's in your fridge. If you want to access Bard, you have to join the waitlist and be at least 18 years old. Cameron, Dana, I wonder if Bard could pick out my outfits for me. What would you use Bard for?
Honestly, I think I would use it to make my grocery list. I can't ever keep up with that.
Definitely, and I think I'd use it to find some fun places to go in Oklahoma, and one popular attraction here in Oklahoma is being recognized nationally.
Coming up, we'll tell you how Scissortail Park is catching eyes all across the country. And clouds have been around all day, but it seems like the sun is starting to show up for the end of today.
Colton Williams is here to tell us what the rest of our week could look like. Colton, could we start seeing some spring weather soon?
That's right, ladies. You look there in the back, you see a little bit of blue sky. We haven't seen that all day long. Cloud cover's been hanging around. We're turning a leaf now, headed for some spring weather. We're going to have all the breakdowns coming up in just a few minutes.
To Sofia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Evening tornadoes tear through Oklahoma.
We have a tornado warning for Cleveland County.
The OU Nightly weather team was there before.
45 minutes away or less from these storms getting into campus.
During.
Plenty of people who, are living off campus. This storm is headed to you.
And after.
Again, sending news crews out to assess damage.
Always keeping the University of Oklahoma in focus.
Campus in the clear right now.
OU Nightly weather for Campus Weather Authority.
All right, welcome back to OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us here on this first full day of spring, and celebrated the spring break last week really under some pretty disappointing conditions as we saw temperatures very much below average for the last week or so. Yeah, a lot of blue filling in here. The good news is really after today, I think most of this is going to fill in with much more red here as we round out this last week or so of March. So coming up over the next several days, we're going to continue to see, again, temperatures, they're going to hang out above average again for the next several days. So as we head into the next couple of days, we will continue with temperatures above average again for the next several days here as we move into here. Our campus cam now looking good. Plenty of blue sky out there. Again, we saw a lot of cloud cover throughout the day today, and that came with a wave of rain throughout the morning. This morning, overall, though, that's beginning to clear out of here. And again, we'll see more sunshine over the next couple of days. Now, taking a look off the west coast for our next storm system, that's brewing off the west coast of California right now, really 1,400, 1,500 miles away or so. That'll be knocking on the door here as we head into Thursday. Overnight last night, maybe a rumble of thunder or two, but 0.2 to 1/4 of an inch for some of us right here in Norman, just under 0.2 of an inch. Now you can check out where that cloud cover is slowly peeling away. Yeah, we're warming up quickly now as we're 10 to 15 to 20 degrees above what we were this time yesterday in far eastern, northeastern Oklahoma, still hanging out below a lot of that cloud cover. So coming up for this evening, again, now springtime kicks in here. It's time to get back to mowing the yard. Temperatures are going to be okay to get out there and do maybe a little bit of yard work this evening if yours is ready to be mowed. All right, coming up tonight again, a warm night, seasonally warm. Cloud cover will dissipate. We will be quiet before then tomorrow. Hanging out once again in the middle to upper 70s now. Tomorrow could crack 80 for the first time in a very long time. All right, so coming up the next couple of days, it will be quiet here as we go throughout the next several days. In fact, we'll look for, our chance will be quiet today and tomorrow. Then we'll look for our chance of severe weather coming in on Thursday. Before then, thankfully, we'll pull in here for a quiet weekend. And then once that peels out of here, we'll be watching one more storm to watch off the west coast coming up early next week. Keep our eye on that. Okay, so coming up Thursday, severe weather chance really beginning to dwindle down now. The greatest chance for severe weather looks to be in north and northwestern Texas, but still a slight chance for severe weather here across the Red River. Coming into Thursday and into Friday, the good news is this system should be a pretty decent rainmaker here. Look for several days worth of rain chances, and again, those temperatures are going to hang out pretty spring-like. The good news, again, for the rainmaker, we'll have the slight chance for some flooding. We don't want you damaging flooding, but lots of rain would be much welcome here across Oklahoma. So model output given 2 to 3 inches in some areas here across Oklahoma. We may miss out just a bit here in the Oklahoma City metro. Coming up this week, looking good in the 70s. This weekend, be back into the 60s this time next week. Maybe a bit of a cool down. Ladies.
Thanks, Colton. And a popular attraction, Oklahoma's own Scissortail Park is up for 2 national awards. The park is nominated for USA Today's 10 Best Awards, and they're competing for Best Outdoor Concert Series and Best Splash Pad. Scissortail Park says this is the first time they have ever been nominated nationally.
I think it's really cool that not only are we being recognized for an amenity that we have at the park that's, built in and was built with the park, but also recognizing some of the programming that we're doing with like the concert series, which has been really exciting for us to all be involved with and be able to offer to the community.
And to help them take home the win, you can vote every single day through April 17th. Those links are up on their website and Facebook.
Bringing it back to Norman, a fun spring activity to do, watching some Sooner sports.
That's right, and Zoe Watson is here to break it down for us.
Yes, the first week of spring brings in plenty of spring sports. Women's gymnastics and softball keep their season going, while women's basketball fights to keep theirs alive. I'll have the details next.
Prepared as your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane. You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking, let's go. You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you!
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Hello, I'm Zoe Watson, and OU women's basketball hope to punch their ticket to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2011. Head coach Jenny Baranchik's daughter cheered on her mom and the Sooners in the second round of the NCAA tournament. OU erased an 18-point deficit but ran out of time to defeat number 4 seed UCLA 82-73. In her last game as a Sooner, Maddie Williams finished with 24 points, 6 assists, 2 rebounds, and the Sooners were emotional after their season and some of their careers came to an end.
I'm glad that we made it a game, and it was a great game for women's basketball, I think, especially in that second half, and that's what we want to continue to do, is grow this incredible sport.
Mentally, we were way more ready than we probably were last year. We couldn't get it up today, but we knew what it took.
It's been an amazing 5 years to get to be alongside with them. So
it's really hard to guard all three of us at the same time, and it's just been an honor to be able to play with such great players around me.
It's really hard to follow those 3 seniors because they're absolutely incredible people who happen to be great basketball players.
OU softball player Jada Coleman added some hardware to her trophy case today. Coleman has been named Big 12 Player of the Week for her performance in the Omni Hall of Fame Classic. She led with the Big 12 with 11 total hits for the week. And speaking of softball, head coach Patty Gasso added another award to her resume. USA Today named Gasso as one of their Women of the Year. She says the biggest lesson she's learned is freedom. And the NCAA, the 2023 NCAA Women's Championship will be making its way through Norman. The Oklahoma women's gymnastic team will earn the #1 overall seed, the NCAA announced.
And in the Norman Regional, OU earned the top seed for the 13th consecutive season. And not only does this week mark the start of spring, but also the first day of spring Sooner football. Head coach Brent Venables expects a defense that should be out of this world this season.
I expect us to be on another planet defensively. Everybody else can talk about, projection of rankings and all those types of things. I just want to see improvement in all the basics, the fundamentals.
On Sunday, the Thunder inched by with a win against the Phoenix Suns. And tonight they continue their quest to the NBA playoffs. OKC will battle former Thunder star Russell Westbrook and the Clippers. And OKC needs a win tonight to stay in playoff contention. Dana, Cameron, back to you.
Thanks, Zoe. Engineering students are now 3D printing desserts, but it's not what you think.
Yes, stick around and we'll tell you about this creative new way of making a tasty treat.
Did you know that items like paint, cleaning solutions, pesticides, solvents, and other chemicals are considered household hazardous waste? These chemicals are dangerous to our environment and water quality when they are dumped in our storm drains or gutters. Fortunately, the City of Norman has a dedicated household hazardous waste facility where you can properly dispose of these items. Call 405-366-5463 to make an appointment. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight, both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back, because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
I'm Darian Curry at the OU Nightly Update Desk. The Oklahoma City Police arrested and booked Michael Overby yesterday, a man accused of soliciting sex with a toddler on March 12th. He was booked on lewd and indecent acts to a child and access to a computer with unlawful intent. Dana, Cameron, back to you.
Thanks, Darian. Well, engineers over at Columbia University set out to make a 7-ingredient vegan cheesecake using a 3D printing machine.
That's crazy. An author of the study says that the food made by the machine is a lot like using a microwave or even an oven to cook food.
These researchers say that these 3D machines needed to create food already exist, they just aren't cheap. I don't know about you, but that looks really good.
Yeah, and I know that last week we both saw some warmer the temperatures back when we were on spring break, but we're just about feeling that spring weather here in Oklahoma right now.
Not quite. So let's check in one last time with OU Nightly weather expert Colton Williams for the rest of this week's forecast.
Yeah, ladies, you hang out in Oklahoma last week. You saw temperatures in the 40s and 50s, really lackluster for a spring break. Now, like I said earlier, kind of turning a new leaf. We're looking at spring-like temperatures headed out for the rest of this week. We'll be looking at temperatures near 80 tomorrow. Before then, that chance for severe weather will roll in on Thursday again. Thursday is going to feel like a spring-like day. Before then, this weekend, we'll drop back down to the middle to lower 60s, but still seasonal for this time of year. By next week, still a couple days worth of spring-like temperatures. Then maybe a cold front will roll through this time next week.
Thanks, Colton, and thank you for watching OU Nightly. I'm Dana Ciros.
And I'm Cameron Joyner. Be sure to watch OU Nightly weekdays live at 4:30. Good night.
Prepared as your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood,